All right. I believe we are live here on the live stream. Let me go ahead and check this out. See if I can actually find this. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. As you can notice, I have actually had some of my background changed a bit, went more to a lighter blue color, and from there, just kind of more of a close up. So let me go ahead and see where I can see you guys. I can't see your comments yet. All right, here we go. Nice. All right. All right, we're good to go. So, hey, welcome to the live stream. So, today we're going to go ahead and talk about, Bitcoin, the market, what's going down, but also too, it's the problem is like a lot of people are debating on whether it's a top or not. And I think I'd rather wait and get into that conversation here in the next few days, because a lot of the indicators that are signaling a top aren't actually signaling any type of top soon. So again, the argument for Bitcoin in the crypto market is that is this just basically a prolonged quote bull market? Because if it is not a prolonged bull market, technically it should be over by I think sometime in November, historically based on past quote cycles. And so that's a big debate right now. You see a lot of people who are talking about how equities are actually overvalued. Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve also talked about that today, that equities are quite highly valued. And then two, you also see that some people are predicting a pullback for Bitcoin is as low as 105K, maybe even lower. So needing a pullback because as we know, the stock market has not yet to pull back yet. And so we want to make sure that that does not pull back, because if you are overly exposed to especially altcoins, you're going to feel some pain if the stock market pulls back and Bitcoin pulls back with it. So welcome everybody else who's just joined the live stream. Again, let me know what you think. I did change up my my setup a little bit. I do actually have this running in 4K. So this is not on HD. So I don't know if you guys are seeing a little bit of a lag. It looks like it's lagging a little bit from what I can see. So because of that, I may have to go back to 1080, because it does look like it's lagging, unfortunately. So because of that, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go here to the bigger screen where you guys can actually see this, because that is not lagging whatsoever. But it looks like I'm not going to be able to at least live stream in 4K. I'll probably have to go back down to 1080. Yeah, unfortunately. And the problem is that I want to record videos in 4K, but to live stream you actually have to have a smaller down to 1080. Okay, not that that matters for you guys. It's over, bro. The top is in. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin overall, not a lot has changed. If you actually go and see really this uptrend that we've been heading up since, as you know, December of 2022. Nothing has changed with that. We continue to mark the here. We continue to keep this uptrend here on the weekly chart. Now, a lot of people are arguing how low can Bitcoin go. And this is the thing that I want to say is that, look, if we do break down back in, if you guys can see this, back last year in 2024, Bitcoin actually broke down and broke this trend. Now, it started a new overall uptrend is what I would like to say as far as a trend line. Okay. So all I have to say is this, is that Bitcoin broke down quite dramatically from, again, 110 down to 74. And so bouncing from there, it did continue to have an uptrend. But of course, based on that trend line alone, I hate trend lines because trend lines are meant to be broken. They're memes. But I'm just trying to say that the price would have to bounce all the way, break down all the way down to like 100K a weekly close in order just to keep that. So again, if you're looking at trend lines, I'm not necessarily bearish whatsoever if this breaks down. If you're looking at the structure overall, I mean, yeah, you'd want you'd want the weekly close to stay above 108K. But again, it did break down in 2024 quite a bit, and we rallied from there. Now, a lot of people are arguing many things for the top. I won't really get into that right now, but I think the key is to take it level by level. And of course, a break below the weekly below 108K, I would think that it's likely that we could actually go as low as 101, 100K. Okay, so I'm talking about the weekly. This candle right here potentially can lead down to here. Okay, now as far as the daily chart goes, again, that's also an important area on the daily chart as well too. A lot of people are arguing around 105K. But a lot of this price action has to do with a couple different things, with liquidation levels, as well as how the stock market does. I don't have the stock market up here. Let me go ahead and pull that up. And so, again, stock market could probably use a pullback. It's on a rip lately, right? We haven't really seen a substantial pullback since let's see here. An okay pullback in September. This is the 4th. Let's go to the daily chart. We saw an okay pullback on one day, September 5th. We saw late August a little bit, but really the height of the pullbacks have been around, man, not a lot. I mean, 3%. We saw this pullback back in April during the tariffs, right? That was substantial. But as a 21%. But since then, we really haven't had anything more than like a 3% dip in stocks. And so why am I talking to you about stocks again? If stocks break down, currently they're down, what, like 0.5% today, 1%. If they break down, then Bitcoin's going to break down with them. So again, stocks broke down 20% back in that time frame. Bitcoin broke down around 30%. So, you're looking at more than 50% more breakdown. So if, again, stocks break down 3 to 5%, Bitcoin's probably going to break down another 10% from here. What's another 10% from here? Well, it's likely going to be closer to the 100 to 100K level. Okay, guys. So really, when it comes down to that, yeah, I mean, it says so replies. So is Bitcoin heading to 10K? Seems gold was a smart play. Yeah, gold's a smart play. A lot of people have been talking about gold. I actually have that chart up. I mean, gold is really for stability. If I saw somebody say, if you want to sleep well at night, you buy gold. And the thing about gold is that this is the weekly chart for gold. I mean, yeah, it looks good over the past, what is this, month or two? And if I go and look, I mean, it's 10, 12% up, man. You're not going to retire off that whatsoever. I mean, you'd have to make $10,000. You would have had to buy 100K worth of gold. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, or a little less than that. But but really, you'd have to size up tremendously. And the thing about gold is that it sustains pretty well overall. We've seen that. We've seen since, if I go out, well, really since 2012. Okay. We had a breakdown 2011, 2012. It broke down to around $1,000 back in at the low at 2015, and it ranged between that time period from 2013 up to 2019, 2020. It was really when it started to break out. It broke out, it had a 2x, then went sideways again for 3 more years. And then since 2023, gold has been in a tear. And yeah, you would have been up. I mean, not even that much, right? Like basically 100% up or so, right? So you would have doubled your money, which is good overall, right? Especially if you trade with size, especially if you invest with size, or if this is an investment. I mean, that's really good. You could have bought Bitcoin and been up 7x, right? And I think a lot of you did. But Ansem tried to argue today that gold has been outperforming Bitcoin since its last all-time high. Well, you don't buy gold to outperform. I mean, in the end, really, that Bitcoin is volatile. It's going to pull back 50 to 75%, 80%. And really, if you're not anybody new whatsoever, or if you just study the chart, that Bitcoin will end up pulling back, and then you buy those dips, and then you ride up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10x, depending on where you bought. And so that's really the volatility and the upside of Bitcoin has always been there. So, you know, that's cherry picking when you compare gold to Bitcoin since their last highs that it's outperformed. Again, you could have sold anywhere above 50, 60K in Bitcoin, bought back down below anywhere between 15 to 25K and be up at least a 5x, right? So, I mean, Bitcoin has way more upside. And my argument is I believe that gold will not hit 2x from here quicker than Bitcoin will 2x from here. So I think Bitcoin will hit 200K before gold hits over 7,000. Okay. So yes, gold overall, great buy. Are you going to buy it here? I mean, I'm not just because I don't know. I just don't trust it. I don't trade gold as much. The chart looks fantastic, but we can see over the period of time as the dollar continues to weaken, people are looking to get into other assets outside the dollar. Gold is going to be one of those popular things. So if you're looking to buy something and sit in it for the next 10 years as a store of value, as a hedge, then yeah, gold's your answer. If you're looking to trade and make money now, I wouldn't be buying gold. Okay, so again, you'd have to be up. You have to put a lot in overall. So good questions there, okay? So, and I'll give away $100 of Bitcoin at the end of the video. I didn't say that earlier. I'll just do it because it's been a while. So, I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about my streams. But the big thing right now is Aster Dex. Are you guys in Aster Dex? Do you know about Aster? So really what this is it is a play really competitor to Hyperliquid. And so we're looking at decentralized perp and spot plays. And, you know, the thing is, yeah, somebody just said people move to digital gold, which is Bitcoin, right? But overall, I do think that we see some downside to Bitcoin again, potentially here soon, but we'll look at it. We'll see. So Aster Dex, if you guys are looking for an airdrop, I discussed this earlier on my Twitter. You can actually, if you're not on Aster or Aster Dex, if you liked, you can even spot trade and earn points. So meaning that you can buy all the big assets here for spot. So if you're looking for spot, you can buy Bitcoin, ETH, you can trade USDC, and you can buy Aster. So there's not a ton of coins to buy on spot here, at least yet. But again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, if you're looking to buy some dips, you can actually gain rewards, and there's like $5 billion worth of dollars that they're going to airdrop for the second airdrop for Aster. And so if you're into perps trading too, a lot of perps that you can actually trade here compared, okay? So a lot more that you can trade for perps. And so as far as that goes too, these guys have actually outdone Hyperliquid in volume. So the volume's good on here. And if you're looking to do that, let's see here. I've actually put this up on my Twitter, my X. You can actually go to this referral link. You can actually hit in the invite code. And if you join a team, you actually get more points as far as a bigger airdrop. So if anybody wants to do that, you totally can. You don't have to. But that is just one thing that I'm going to farm here in the future. But Aster right now is super popular. If I go back to spot, it's been on a rip, man. Like I talked about it here, I think at like 50, 60, 70 cents. And it's been on an uptrend. And it hit $2. We're having a little bit of pullback now. But I do believe that if you're looking for something to trade, to buy that has bigger upside than a lot of things that's outperforming, Aster is going to be one of those spot coins that you can buy not only on here, but there's other places that you can buy as well. You can go to CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and you can take a look. So, again, don't fade these types of plays that have really all the attention. CZ, Binance, etc. They're going to eventually put this on their spot DEX on Binance, and it's probably going to continue to go up. Usually, too, though, when they put it on Binance DEX, it's usually to sell the news. So you have to just kind of watch out for that. But I believe that it has some pretty high upside. As far as that goes, too, I'm going to look at a few other things. But speaking of decentralized exchanges, I just want to just laugh at this today. A lot of people were talking about this thing called Quanto Dex. This is actually on Solana perps trading. And so people were trying to say that this was the Hyperliquid and Aster on Solana. And they even had Tolly, the founder of Solana, like retweet it. And then he's since then deleted his tweet because people went on to find out that this is actually a an exchange that Suzu, if you can remember, with Three Arrows Capital, which caused a massive contagion in the crypto market back in the time of Luna back in 2022. And so they have since then basically rugged another project from my knowledge. And so, hey, man, like, because of that, it's something that you probably want to stay away from, anything that he touches. Now, since then, Zoo is apparently left this. But again, I'm just saying, like, in general, like, a lot of people are pretty mad about finding out that Suzu was a part of this Quanto. But I just kind of laugh because Quanto, it's not the Hyperliquid or Aster. You saw this massive dump right here. But basically, they only had 4 million in volume over the past 24 hours. 4 million in volume for a perps trading DEX is basically 0.027%, not 2%, not 0.2%, but 0.27% of the volume that Hyperliquid and Aster have. So really, this should have never pumped. Basically, they have zero to no volume, and if you want to look, basically Quanto, I saw it earlier. Yeah, they've got like 70 exchanges, decentralized exchanges that have more volume than them. So yeah, so for people to go out and shield this token to say that it's the next big Hyperliquid or Aster, it's just really stupid because they literally have no volume, and there are very small unknown exchanges that have more volume than them. And yet people are trying to say that Quanto is some like hyper good perps DEX on Solana. I don't buy it. They have to prove themselves. So far, the team has not been, they actually bull tweeted their ticker and it was like long their ticker. And that's always bearish when you see a project shield their own, not a meme coin, right? But if you see a project shield their own token, it's always bearish. And then they did that at the top and then it's dumped since then. So anyway, people can do what they want to do, but I don't like the Quanto exchange. I don't like the history of it, and I don't think it's anywhere close to Aster and Hyperliquid. And I tried to get on there to short. I did not make it in time. It dumped before I could, but that would have been an awesome short. Would have made a lot of money shorting QTO. All right, so let's talk about some positive things. I don't want to be negative here, right? Because, but Avalanche. Okay, guys, like, Avalanche is doing pretty good right now. Overall, it looks pretty strong. This is the 1 hour chart. I was watching this earlier for Avalanche, and basically I took along here at this retest of like 32.90. But basically, Avalanche is very strong. So what I want you to know, Aster is very strong. AVAX is very strong. On the title of this video live stream, I was like, you know, things are breaking down, but there's some, don't miss these coins. You know, I think Aster continues up. I think that there's a good target of $5. It's currently under $2. So again, not a massive return. You know, you're looking at a couple X, but again, it's something that you can trade in size that you can't just trade anything in size like that. Bitcoin, Ethereum are not going to 2X anytime soon. So what coins are going to 2 to 3X that you can trade with size? Well, you've got Aster, you've got AVAX right now. That's looking really good because of the DATs, the digital asset treasuries that they have. They're buying back assets. Let's see if I see anything else. You've got some tweets here that talk about the Avalanche Foundation, that talk about that they plan to raise $550 million, the first NASDAQ-listed company with a dedicated AVAX strategy. They plan to buy more AVAX, lock that up. And so they're committed and have a treasury. They're committed to the adoption and long-term sustainability of Avalanche. Yeah, so a lot of people, some people are bullish. Yeah, I'm holding Aster. I'm holding Avalanche. I've been in Aster since like 39, 40 cents. So I got in semi-early, but I didn't I didn't put any size in it because I was unsure. I was like, man, it's already pumped like 5x in the last few hours. I can't be buying this. And then people were like, CZ just kept talking about it. And I was like, I'm going to put 10, 15K in it. So, I mean, like, I didn't put a lot, but like my, whatever, I'm up like 5x or whatever. So, which is good. It's fantastic. Like, whenever you can turn 10K to 50K, I mean, it's a great trade. I haven't taken profit yet because I think that it can continue to go higher. So since I got a good entry, it's not going to hit 40 cents anytime soon. I'm just going to hold that in its spot. But as far as any, I did try to long Aster, and I kid you not, I was telling somebody today that it bounced around the 50, 0.5 fib line. I won't get into it, but I was like one sit under that. So I missed a long. I did market long into it, but I missed my limit long by my bid orders for Aster. But I'm in AVAX as well. AVAX, Avalanche, and Aster are two really good assets right now in crypto that I think can continue to do well. Now, the only thing that's going to slow it down is any type of pullback in stocks and Bitcoin that, like I talked about earlier. But this is huge overall. AVAX DEX volume nears 1 billion. So Avalanche records its largest daily trading spike in over 18 months. So this was actually also today. So it shows that there is a lot more attention coming into Avalanche. And, I am not even for sure why it's having this much volume. I'll have to go and look. But in the end, we know that there's a lot more attention going over to Avalanche. And I think, Avalanche is one of the few overall majors that has yet to really rally hard. Now, yes, the last 3 weeks it's up, but if you zoom out, look at this. I mean, it really has a lot of upside. Remember that the all-time high was like 150 or so back in 2021. And so it's only at around, $34, $35 right now. It could pull back again, but I can foresee it hitting up to 2xing from here. And again, whenever you can 2x anything with some size meaning that it's liquid and you're not going to get major slippage. So if you need to put 5-6 figures in something, you can. 5 figures anywhere from 10K to 99K to or more. You're not going to slip compared to a lot of these low liquidity meme coins. So Avalanche, Aster, I foresee this doing really well as long as this continues to hold above 26, 27 on the weekly. But again, this has shown some strength. Avalanche has, and so if it comes back down, potential retest of this would maybe buy. Yeah. So right now, though, a lot of people are like, "Oh, is this a swing failure pattern?" Right. So basically, what happens? Price goes above the previous and then comes back down. Is this going to continue to go back down? We'll see. But for me right now, I've got some between $30 and $33. And I'm just going to sit here and hold this. But right now, this looks pretty good overall for Avalanche. I mean, if you guys agree. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Dust. Okay, yeah, this is one of the few meme coins that I bought. This has to do with Aster. So Dust is actually the mascot for Aster DEX, and all the Aster team have switched their avatars like on Twitter X to like the Dust kind of guy logo. So this is holding 6 to 7 million market cap, and I've been holding Dust for a while and got in around a little less than $1 million. I held up here to 25 million. I'm still holding, and I want to see it continue to do well. But I think if Aster continues to go on a tear, that for any memes on Binance, this is one of those that can do well overall. Yeah, I'm still working on family. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that. So the only other, meme coin is, so on Pump Fun, I'm going to do some more streams, and I have not yet tweeted out about this yet because again, I'm trying to, be smart about it as far as, for live streams. I want to try Pump Fun some more and build that up because I feel like family is a great overall meme. It's super positive, and I think a lot of people can rally and build behind it. So as far as that goes, that is one that I'll go ahead and show this to you guys. It's at 100K market cap right now. not that I'm promoting this, right? So, but this is the one that's connected to my live stream on Pump. And so, yeah, people have sold it, but I haven't really been working on it a lot. And so I plan to continue to, when the market continues to get better, I think in Pump, things go back into Pump and memes, this will continue to get more attention as well too. But bottom line, I plan to do live streams on Pump Fun. And I've got people in the community who want to continue to kind of build up this family meme. So I say do it. They're going to, put up an X Twitter account, and they're going to be posting about it and really put memes out. So again, family, my thesis behind it again is that there's so much value in family. And that's really why we're all here, to better our lives, to do it for a family. And, we can look at ourselves as all one big family when it comes to, especially with crypto, such a small amount of people in the world that are in it still, actually, technically. And, as we look at ways to have decentralized living, financial freedom, to basically hedge against the dollar, find ways to get ahead, family just comes first. And so all that goes back to this meme. So currently, yes, I will talk more about this. And I mean, right now, I'm not really paying attention to the chart, but yeah, it's about 100K market cap. I'm going to do more live streams on Pump Fund if that makes sense for you guys. Okay, so just know this. How do I find things early? A lot of it has to do with, like, being in groups, talking, hearing things, just seeing what people are posting. I mean, if you would have had CZ on notifications, excuse me, or if you would have saw CZ's tweet on, he actually tweeted around like 17 cents. Okay, it is since done what, like 11x that, 12x. So if you would have even seen it, CZ tweet about that for Aster, you would have been up 12x. And that's something too that you could go up on size in. So size meaning like 6 figures, non-slippage, you'd be up, 7 figures right now. And that's not even leverage trading, that's just spot buying. So again, that's one thing, but I think that having groups helps. I think that, for me, like I have trade groups that I'm in with a few people, and they're not open, they're not public. I've thought about making a public group. The only problem with that is that there is a lot of responsibility with that. So, I mean, I've never wanted to really charge as much, but I've also been working on a product as well. So I've been working on some stuff, building some stuff with a partner to build some stuff to help make trading and investing easier using AI, and it'll probably be subscription based. And so if I do that, there's possibility for maybe even me making like a group with that people get. I don't know yet, but groups, it definitely helps when it comes to trading in the markets. It's really hard because it's so noisy out there, and there's a lot of really bad groups that I've been in groups. I'm still in groups that just shill just crap, and I get rugged, and like it's just bad, right? Like you have to be in, really have, even though somebody promotes something in a group, you still have to have a good thesis around it. You still have to be able to discern if it's a good or bad trade, because I have listened to friends before and I've lost money. And so that's why, you still have to be careful regardless. But I do think that, having groups, having friends, communicating, networking tends to help. Having notifications on, there's a lot of different things you can do with bots and knowing that, but that's a lot of on-chain stuff as well too. Aster again is on-chain, but it's also, more of a very high market cap type of trade that you're not always going to see that just comes out. So a lot of people are comparing Aster to Trump, being like the most free money trade. But again, you have to remember this is business. This is a business for traders and funds who are in this. And again, I would love to size in more. I got in at 40 cents. I'd love to size in more on Aster here at 2. But I'm just debating on whether or not it's going to pull back one more time prior to a run up again, right? So it's just kind of debating that. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, but right now, Aster looks pretty good. Basically, this is kind of swept the high, and it's just kind of ranging right here. So can it break back down to say 150 to 170? Like, that would definitely be a buy for me. Anytime this does a 30% pullback, it's just, I'll probably just throw money in spot. Okay, so again, I do like that. Good overall trade. Liquidations, guys. So a lot of people came out yesterday on YouTube and stuff. I won't make fun of people, but they're all like, this is why the market pulled back. And it's just like, well, I mean, like, the market didn't really dump a lot. Like, the market is down like 2%, like Bitcoin. So, and everybody's excuse was like, it's because they had a mass liquidation. Now, there were a ton of longs liquidated, okay? 1.65 billion. And so what you're going to see quite often is you're going to see this happen in the market to where we have long, you have a big liquidation, big liquidation, and then days go by, another big liquidation, days go by, another big liquidation. And it had been some time, guys. Like, the last decently liquidation that we had 800 million longs liquidated back in August. That was almost a month ago. So if you notice, basically here on the right side of this chart, where before this big green candle right here, basically it's been a while since we had a pretty big liquidation day. And so we had that yesterday, and the last day or so, or was that the 21st? Excuse me. That was on the 21st, 23rd today. So we had that on the 21st, and that was great. I mean, again, Matt, pretty big liquidation. It doesn't mean that the lows are in yet. Again, because you have to really pay attention to stock markets. This is the daily candle on the stock market right here. It's an bearish engulfing, meaning that it's closing lower than the previous candle. And so is it a possibility that stocks continue to pull back the rest of this week? Yes, it is a possibility. If that happens, Bitcoin likely goes down, back down to retest 108. And we'll have to see if it bounces from there. So, for me, just because we have this big liquidation doesn't mean like that was the whole reason that the market pulled back and it's done. Now we're going to bounce from here. No, I mean, Bitcoin, if anything, is really going sideways, right? It's ranging. And I'm not, for me, I'm in spot, and I'm honestly waiting for perhaps a little bit lower. But the problem I have with Bitcoin, let me just move this one, was I talked about this. Let me get all this out of the way. But it was this main area right here, right? Like, Bitcoin needed to break above 118 basically, and to hold on the daily chart, and we were not able to do that. I think we've been talking about that since late August. We've been talking about that for a month now, that Bitcoin has been unable to break above 118 and close above the previous range. If you look on the 4-hour chart, it's a pretty good sign. Like, on the 4-hour chart, it broke above it, but not really on the daily. So, 117, 118, it's just to show strength. Bitcoin has to prove itself, and it has to get into the prior range, right? Want to see it get up here, hold this, and then it'll retest this high. But it wasn't able to do that. It rejected off this level, and it since went down. And so will we come back down and retest 108? Definitely a possibility, okay? So that's my take on Bitcoin until you break above 118. I don't really feel like I should go heavy yet. It's kind of in this mid-range right here. Look, it's in this mid-range, right? Between here, it's just kind of in the middle right here. I'm not interested in buying stuff in the middle. Yes, 111,900 is not a bad price long term if it goes up higher, but I would rather bid or trade here, or I'd rather bid a break above there. I don't really want anything to do with this middle right here, if that makes sense to you guys. So I'm not really hawkish. Hawkish means right on the overall Fed and stuff like that. But it is interesting that we can talk about that. But borrowing is back over 4%. And basically, even though the Fed cut rates, it's like you would think that the percentage would go down and more. Yeah. Anyways, the whole point is that I think, who is it? Arthur Hayes posted on that. I can probably find that. Arthur Hayes. Here we go. Crypto Hayes. He was talking about this somewhere. Yeah, he said, does crypto care that the UST 10-year yields are up since September 17th when the Fed cut rates instead of down, because typically you'd want to see that go down. So, I think I even replied to this too. Most people don't understand you. Basically, despite the Fed cut, borrowing costs are up, right? So when borrowing costs are up to borrow money, you want borrowing costs to go down, because the cheaper money is to borrow, well, then people are going to actually borrow money. They're going to buy risk assets with it. If it's not cheap to borrow, they're not going to do that as much, right? If the cost of money is high, they wait till the cost goes down. And so far, the cost is not necessarily down yet. So, somebody asked about hawkish. So I'm just, breaking that down for you guys. That's like it. I did say before in multiple, I think, videos that when the Fed cuts rate for the first time, there tends to be a lag in uptrend of the market. You tend to see a bit of a pullback the first month in the stock market. We'll see what happens. So it's only been a week and not a lot has happened. And if anything, we want to make sure that goes down. So here's a pretty good overall. I liked reading this. If you want to read this with me, look this over. Mercury is a trader. It's interesting. So let me just go ahead. Let's read it, right? So the largest liquidation event happened in crypto history yesterday. I don't think it was crypto history, but it was for this year. Anyway, regardless, okay? Lots of liquidations and longs happened. I wonder if there's a signal in that. Well, there is. The signal is your counterparty is redacted. Armies of degenerates that use leverage at the highs as a way to overcompensate for their dissatisfaction after fading rallies for months. This is who you have to beat in order to be profitable. So basically, Bitcoin is only 9% off the highs. It is down only 2% the past 24 hours. I said that earlier. ETH is only 15% off the highs. It's only went down 10%. Okay, this is crypto. We all join because of volatility, but that's not really a big deal, because if you've been here like I have, which I know a lot of you guys have, you go back and look at 2021. Traders there, as he said, will tell you stories of these 30% daily pullbacks in Bitcoin and 70% daily candles on their favorite altcoins, right? What we've seen over the past few weeks or days in crypto is not even a big deal. And so many will complain that this market hasn't been filled with as much opportunity as previous cycles. I would say it's been harder. That's my personal opinion. It has been harder for me as far as trying to get these 100x plays, right? I have hit a few, but it's definitely harder than 2021 when there was less tokens. But I wholeheartedly believe this is Cope. So he's saying that there is no way to quantify that there's been less opportunity. He believes that there's been at least equal opportunity, okay? But if we are going to make that argument, don't neglect the fact that it has never been easier to survive this market due to the mildness of sell-offs. So I do like this. What he's basically saying is that these sell-offs have been mild. 10% back, 15% back in Bitcoin and ETH, 10% back in alts. Man, you should be happy about that, if anything. Your ability to survive and not get liquidated or to not get wiped out should be easier than ever, okay? Now, if you're buying a high-risk meme coin, the 80th frog coin, then yeah, that's only 100K market cap. Then that's a little different than a $1 billion market cap, token. But he's saying in general, for most crypto altcoins, you're going to be able to survive pullbacks easier. The ability to survive is what most directly impacts your profitability as a trader, and I agree with that. You not wiping yourself out is a huge deal, okay? So, guys, the thing about overall is knowing that, if you buy AVAX here, that even though it's kind of has a swing failure pattern going, that I'm going to watch this 3280 level, but there's no reason to think that this thing is going to nuke, back down in this range at 2020 unless like the entire market nukes. But in general, you're able to survive easier now in crypto, and the pullbacks aren't as harsh, especially with the major assets. So bidding here, with all the bullish catalysts that AVAX has, is maybe not quite a bad trade if you have good risk management and don't go too heavily in. But I do like what Mercury says about that in general. Going back to that, basically it's easier. Our counterparty has never been dumber. And that's the problem is that, again, I told you guys this, and if you're only trading meme coins on Solana, which I know some of you don't at all, but some people do, if you're only trying to find these 100, 200K market caps and try to flip those and find the next 100X, you're going to have a bad time. You need to be able to be flexible. You need to be able to both trade meme coins that are low cap, and you need to be able to buy plays like Aster and AVAX that I'm screaming at you that these are higher upside, better, higher quality potential than a lot of things out there right now, saying that you also need to be happy when you have these 2, 3, 4, 5Xs on these majors because you can trade them with size. It's a little different than meme coins where you put in, $500, and if you get wiped out, I mean, that's a lot of money, but I mean, you also have a higher reward on those. But trade both, okay? But in the end, like, he's basically saying you're not getting wiped out as much. Be thankful for that. And that's just kind of the bottom line. Okay, gold. Aster's up. Like I said, it's really churning out the volume compared to Hyperliquid right now. That's why I'm bullish on it. ETH update. Overall, ETH has, if you were to look at, this as a range, right? The top of the range, not the wick. The bottom of the range, as far as like the closes go, ETH came down. It came back and hit this new high, and then really, if anything, it's been going sideways, and it came back down and retested 4,000. So I think if it can't sustain 4,000, that this continues to break down. Okay, so this is kind of the line in the sand right here. Well, my line in the sand was earlier, and I told you guys that, and I broke this down, and I said if it can't sustain this area right here, not that. I said if it can't sustain this area right here, okay? So basically what happened was ETH came up and it broke the high of this range, okay? And it couldn't hit a new high, so it's a lower high. It came back down, retested that. I said it's got to keep 4,500, 4,480. If it keeps that, then I think it can come back up here and retest these highs. If it doesn't, I'm cutting it, and it didn't, and it came back down here, and it was an easy cut, So if you had stops, you got stopped out, and it came back down and retested this low, okay? So that's on the intraday time frame. If you zoom out, though, I mean, what's kind of ugly for ETH is that, a pretty big gap in here to where, I mean, possibility to retest this area of, definitely sub 4,000, right? We're at 41.67 right now, but possibility to come back down sub 3,800 somewhere. Let me look at the weekly here. Yeah, somewhere in here, sub 3,800. Some people are arguing, 3,500 to 3,300. So possibility, but again, you don't want 4,000 to break. If it breaks, it's probably coming back down to sub below 3,800 at least, okay? And again, depends on what Bitcoin does, the stock market does. Because right now, I think ETH compared to Bitcoin is looking kind of weak. It is. So, not looking great overall. All right, broke back down. Go on the weekly. Yeah. So, it's pumped quite a bit over the past couple of months. So, a little breakdown in ETH to Bitcoin is not a big deal, guys. So just know that. What is the safe zone for trading crypto? Top 120. What would you consider largest, medium, low caps? I mean, that's always an argument. If you go to CoinGecko, I mean, really anything with decent liquidity, like again, like you can trade anything like that shows strength, like Bongo Cat, right? Like, I mean, the thing with Bongo is that it's held 6 to 7 million. So if you're looking at lower cap coins like this, like look at this, see this line right here? Like this has been able to sustain this level. So it's kind of like you buy down here at 5, 6 million. And then if you're trading it, you trade up to 15, 17 million. Like that's the argument. If you're looking at lower caps, you just you tend to watch those support levels. Bongo Cat's moving the bonk ecosystem starting this week. So that's really cool overall. I've helped with Bongo, so I'm biased. But I think overall, we're going to continue to have a pretty good project with that. But I'm just saying in general, if you're trading lower caps, just look for major support levels. As far as, Bitcoin in general, like anything in the top 20, 30 is pretty massive. I mean, these are like billions of dollars in market cap, hundreds of millions in volume, and the liquidity is pretty good, especially if you can find these things on Coinbase and Binance and Bybit. The liquidity is good. So, I mean, anything that you can find on Coinbase is going to be considered higher market cap, right? And so you can trade a lot of these with size, if that's what you're asking. But safe zone for trading crypto, man, like it's hard to say because it really is up. It's like pseudoscience. Like there are some coins that are in the top 30 or 40 that are trash that I don't even touch. I don't even know. What are some of these? I mean, I don't know. Like Stellar and Bitcoin Cash have like ETFs going on. But other than that, like in Leo, like I ain't touching Leo token. That's like Bitfinex's token. I mean, I'm not touching Crow either, crypto.com. Like, there's just some of these I just don't care about. Like, before the ETF for Polkadot, I wouldn't touch Polkadot either. But there's connection with Polkadot with what's the AI coin? I can't even think of it right now. My brain's fried. But there's some of these that I wouldn't even touch, man. And then you have to look too, guys, at things that are newer. And things like World Liberty Finance is 38 overall, okay? They probably have some upside with Trump and that pumponomics there, right? And so there is a bullish catalyst potentially with World Liberty Financial. So I would rather trade that than trade Uniswap or Polkadot. I mean, I just would. So, I mean, our white Bitcoin, I hate exchange tokens unless it's like Aster or Hyperliquid, the new hot ones too. So newer is better always. And then just looking at seeing what has some narrative behind it. Athena ENA has the stablecoin narrative behind it, so that's going to be stronger. Aave is going to be stronger with the DeFi narrative with the Trump too. So there's some of these that are actually going to have a stronger fundamental behind it in the top 50 that I am more likely to trade and think it's going to do well. So I'm going to trade those and buy those on dips more than a lot of things. Again, Chainlink, I think, is undervalued. Avalanche is undervalued. Yeah, so that's just kind of my thoughts on it. Yeah, Bitcoin Cash always has drama. Yeah, Mantle has Bybit backing. I do believe that I think that with the Bybit backing, I can't really explain that. They're backed by Bybit. There's been some changes with Mantle. Mantle is now good. Mantle before Bybit, not so much. So yes, I do like Mantle. I can't even see. I can't find it. Oh, there it is. It's at 37. So Mantle, if we were to look at that and we were to go to let's go to here. What's yeah, MNT. Yeah, look at that. Woo. Strong, man. So yes. Yes, the last few days it's been strong. So again, Mantle's one of those things. It looks like is it in price discovery? Yeah, it's in price discovery. So it came back down, bounced off this previous area at like 140, which was pretty bullish, and it's since bounced. So expect if the market overall has a pullback that Mantle will pull back too, but I do believe that Mantle is a stronger overall altcoin play. And as far as it goes with its kind of partnership with backing of Bybit, that people are comparing it a little bit to like say BNB. And I need to look that up a little bit more, but as you know, BNB is a top 5 token overall. I'm not going to say that Mantle is going to go and break the top 10, but you're looking at BNB at 141 billion market cap. and you're looking at Mantle at 5.8 billion. So is there upside here? What has more upside, Mantle or BNB? Mantle does. If there's dips, I'm buying Mantle over BNB. Like, that's a good fundamental analysis thesis you can make, right? So that's another way. How are you making upside in this market? Trying to find those assets that probably have higher upside, specifically those in the top 50 to 100 that you can buy, that are on major exchanges that you can buy with more size, right? So that's something that robotics meta, I think we're still kind of early on. I have talked about Show, and then I got the guy who told me about Show, who kind of was like, man, their team is kind of dumb. And they have, robotics, and now they're just between 1 and 4 million, right? They're at lows right here. So I'm not going to sit here and say I bought this around 1.5 million. They pumped to like 4 to 5 million, but they're not really doing much. So, I mean, this is one in general that I'm holding, but I think that we're still early because we really are early. I mean, it's not like we're going to have robots out anytime soon doing stuff. Are you seeing that now on social media and different robots and how, people building stuff? Yeah, they are. But I mean, there's an argument too that you can buy software for robotics, invest in those companies. I don't have a list for you though. There's that you can buy in the parts for robots. So what are companies that are supplying parts for robotics, right? For arms and legs and all that. That's something that you can buy as well. So you have to think just outside of just robotics themselves, those types of investments. You have to look at the other types of companies that are involved in that whole narrative and industry. And so again, crypto robotics is probably equivalent to crypto AI. A lot of this, it's just really hard. Like, if you're a true robotics company, and I don't know enough about Show, but it's just like, in the end, like, you're probably going to be more on like focused on the stock market and not in crypto, right? Like, if you know what you're doing. So it's, and not that these guys don't know what they're doing. I'm just throwing it out there. There's a reason this is 1 million market cap. High upside. When there's a robotics narrative that goes off, stuff like this that's only 1 million market cap is probably going to 10, 20x, right? So that's the bonus of being in early to crypto tokens. But as far as long-term investments, these crypto tokens are not going to be, and robotics are likely not going to be long-term investments like you're going to see a robotics company in the stock market, if that makes sense. Okay. So, this is the thing too. This is cool. I saw this today. And so that the, apparently that the SEC chairman wants ordinary Americans. And I know not everybody here is an American, but this is good though. This is good for everybody in the world. The SEC chairman wants ordinary Americans in private markets make IPOs great again. Okay, so basically the big argument has always been that it's a wealth test in America. If you're not worth at least $1 million, you can invest in initial public offer, or you can invest in these private rounds. And it's just like, it's always been the case that, people who aren't wealthy are stupid or something. And it's not true, right? There's a lot of really smart people out there, and there's a lot of really stupid wealthy people who made their money via their family, who made their money via other things. And there's a lot of funds that end up losing, that are outperformed by these degen retail traders, man. So, like, in the end, like, this is a very good thing for the world, for everybody to have access to private rounds and IPOs. And that brought up to me because you guys ask about robotics. And a lot of these robotics companies have had these private rounds. And a lot of things as far as investing in private rounds anyways, you usually have to know people, or you have to have a network or connection anyway, for the fact that if you're investing in them and they're a good company, they probably want to make sure that not only can you give them money, but what else can you give them? And so if you can give them advisory, connections, and so that's why a lot of these heavy big funds anyways have connections and are the ones that end up investing in these companies. But that's really cool overall. So that's bullish. The only other things that I have to bring up, IP has been on a tear lately, in a good way. Now, the last couple of days, this is nuked down, but IP has been on a pretty big rally since late August, right? From $6 and it's 2.5x to 15, and is now breaking down. I do like this area down around $10, $11. Let me go to the daily chart. Yeah, I do think that this is a great buy the dip opportunity. Don't want to see it break below 960, 950 for IP for story, but overall it's been doing pretty well. And so I even talked about IP, and there's one called IPPY. I've been talking about this since down here at like sub 1. I think even 500 to 800K. I talked to people about it. So it hit 5-6 million market cap. It's around 4.2. So if story continues to show strength, it's not showing strength today by any means. The last 2 days, a good pullback. It needed this. So expect some sideways to go here. But if this continues on to the upside, a lot of people do like story. That things such as like Ippy and some of these story related memes can do well. And again, it's really hard to trade on story. You have to go and go to I think Story Hunt is the name of the exchange. I'm not going to go on this, but Ippy overall, I like it. I've been in it, and apparently Story team knows about it. So we'll see if it has some upside. The only other things, KTA, Kita right now bouncing at around 87. This has been one to watch. It's been pretty strong. It had a nice dip. Apparently, there's a lot of bullish catalyst behind this as well. So I think with KTA, a nice little bounce here. It's bouncing back down to these areas. So I think with it, KTA could be a potential opportunity. Again, once it breaks above this 120-ish, 118 level, it's probably going to continue on up to 150 again. So again, KTA is probably a good one to watch overall. A nice little pullback here, a nice bounce, sub $1, one that I'm watching. You can get it on Kraken, I think. But again, it's been in a straight downtrend, right? We've seen this happen again and again. Downtrend, downtrend, down, down, down. Is this just going to go here and then go back down, right? So be careful for that. Make sure that it proves itself. Get back above $1 and hold $1 for KTA. If it can do that, then it's probably going to be a good thing. And it's on the 1 hour to 4 hour chart. Okay. Anything else? Some of you guys got to go. It's totally fine. Been talking for an hour. Woo! That's a long time. Anything else, guys? Shoot a comment on here. And Solana, it just broke down. So nice uptrend on the weekly. It's down to the midline here. Potential buy the opportunity here at 215 or so. And we'll see if it bounces. If not, there's a possibility to hit sub 200 again, especially if Bitcoin and the entire crypto market continue to pull back. Just watch this for Solana. But right now, potential bounce area here for Solana. We'll see if it can bounce at 215. If not, then definitely has opportunity to go a little bit lower. But yeah, man, I just wanted to really go over some things. Stock market's bouncing slightly. Bitcoin, again, mid-range, not much is going on. So I'm not really interested in Bitcoin here, as I said earlier. Needs to come back down to 108 or break above 118. If it can't do that, I'm just going to sit here and sit on my hands. A lot of trading in the market is allowing the market to come to you, to come into good entries, okay? Hey, you guys have been good here for a long time. I'm going to shut up and give away $100 in Bitcoin. So as soon as this stream is over, comment on the video, okay? I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of who's here and see my screenshot thing here. And I'm going to go ahead, take a screenshot, and I got it. So I know who's here and who showed up. You guys comment on the video, $100 Bitcoin giveaway. That's all you got to do on this. The ability to comment on it will show up after we get off here. But you guys have been great, so thanks for doing that. But with that said, Bitcoin is kind of in the mid-range right here. I'm going to wait to see if it bounces at 108 or 118. Other than that, man, we'll just keep going here. But Aster and AVAX are two coins that I'm continuing to watch. I think have some pretty good upside. and maybe some decent buy the dip opportunities on Story and Kita coming up as well too. Mantle looking strong. If it can continue to do well, that's another one that I like. Okay, guys. Let me see here. I think. Oh, Matt. Oh, last question before I go. Max leverage is really depending on what you're trading. Okay. So again, if you're 2x leverage, it's going to take roughly around a 50% pullback for you to get liquidated. A 3x leverage, typically around a 33%, right? And a 4x leverage around 25%. You can easily get liquidated on anything over 4x on altcoins. So a lot of times what I'll end up doing is 2x to 5x max, depending on it. Bitcoin, 3 to 4x, usually altcoins 2 or 3x, a lot of times depending on my size as well. But if you're trying to, again, reduce counterparty risk, a lot of times people will end up putting just a little bit of money on an exchange, and then they'll 5 to 10x it, right? So if you put 1,000 in, you 10x it, it's 10,000 of a position there. And so, it's stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not going over 5x usually on anything, especially altcoins. And that's, 20% pullback can happen anytime. So yeah, I think in general, 3 to 5x max. And from there, guys, it's just, you got to be smart. You can always have a stop, right? You don't have to get liquidated. You can keep yourself from getting liquidated. You can lose money, but have a stop. That'll get you out of the position, not force a liquidation, because again, you have to be careful because they're going to hunt those liquidation areas, those key areas. So, all right, guys. All right. So leave a comment on the video, $100 giveaway after this. With that said, you guys have a great rest of your day. Trade safe, and I will see you on